What's going on, everybody? It's Tactical Trash Panda once again with another video. So right here we have the Law Tactical folder, which I got from Brownells. I am a proud BOP member of Brownells. So right here we have my 10.5-inch AR setup. For a long time I just had this, and I'm planning on upgrading it because it was just, one of those fun toys, safe queen type thing. Just, you built it just to build it and then you threw it in the safe. So now I'm planning on, customizing it a little bit more, giving it some upgrades, probably a better flashlight for one, and maybe upgrade it to a K2 grip. And other than that, I don't really see much that needs to be done to it. But I wanted to put on a Law Tactical folder on this thing for a very long time. So let's get to it. You will need an AR wrench of some sort. There's the one I have. And I already loosened up the castle nut in the back to save some time. So let's take this thing apart. You will want to take your upper off, the lower. Put that aside. So let's get to it now. Now you'll just unscrew your castle nut. If you're not familiar with these, you got to hold this plate down because you do have your safety detent right over here. As you can see right in there, there's a detent that holds this. It's not your safety, but your takedown detent is what I meant. It's right there, and you can see there's a little channel right there. So there's a spring right there, if you could see it. So hold down on it, loosen it up. And slowly release. Seems like there's some gunk in there. Now you do not want to lose that spring. So there you go. Let's take that out, put it aside, or we're not going to lose it. We don't have to worry about that. So from there, oh yeah, well, there you go. Let's take your spring out. It'll be a little finicky, but you can get it. There we go. You're gonna need to take this detent out with the spring as well. You're gonna need that later. You can take the buffer tube, the buffer spring and the buffer out. Now you're good to go. You can unscrew it. Make sure you don't lose that detent. I have an extra one, so not too worried about it. But you could probably just tap that thing out if need be. Alright. Looks like I may have put some grease in there. I'm not sure why I did that. Probably to help it not seize up later down the line. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I built this thing. Alright, let's take this, clean it off. Alright. Now that that's out the way, that's what you're left with right here. Let's open this up. So here we have the actual folder. And it does mention make sure to close before firing. You have a detent screw right there. Alright. Here's the actual screw that you're going to be using for right here. And it comes with its own flange tool to screw this in place. So the directions say that once this starts to bend, once you see some flex into it, that means you have the proper torque set. So you will need a 9/64 hex screw and also a 3/32 for the set screw. So here we go. I already got them out. The 9/64 is going to go right here. You're gonna take that screw out. And be careful because it is under spring tension. Comes out. Spring comes out. And go. Your little mechanism right there comes out as well. And then we have those out the way. What I'm gonna do is get your spring for your takedown detent. Put that back in place. Take your flange. And just carefully, you don't want to bind the spring up, so make sure you carefully just push it back into place. And this is where having the workbench and the vise and everything comes in handy. Unfortunately, I don't have that luxury here, but it's alright, no worries. And here we go. Start that in. Work it in place. Get the threads in. There we go. I think I finally got it in the threads. You could just tighten it by hand at first, as you can see, and then use the flange tool to truly torque it down. This would have been a lot easier with the bench, but it's alright, no worries. So you can see right there where it screws in. Let me try to torque it down off camera. Alright, as you can see, the tool bent. That means it's properly torqued. And that we can use the set screw to set it in place. Let me grab my Loctite. Trusty old bottle of Loctite that leaks up. Let me clean this thing off a little bit. It seems like every time I need Loctite, I can never find it. And then after I'm done using it, after I purchase a new bottle, I find the bottle that I was looking for. Alright, you got directions always say you gotta shake this thing up before you use it. So What I like to do whenever I'm about to install some Loctite on a screw, I like to get some rubbing alcohol. I'm sure you can use something else too. I've heard you can use paint thinner, or what's the other stuff that acetone. Just anything that's gonna get all those oils off the screws from like machining and all that stuff. Just clean it off first. Now let's take this set screw off and do the same thing. There you go. You don't want to lose that. And let's just wipe it off clean, dry it off. Add a little bit of Loctite on there. Sorry. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot. Just enough to grab a couple threads on there. There you go. Doesn't take too much force. Just lock it in place. And with Loctite, you gotta give it about 24 hours before it's completely set in. So let's put this mechanism back in. There you go. Looks like I'm missing a piece. There we go. So this one goes back in first, and this thing looks pretty oily. I'm gonna just clean that off a little bit. So there you go. That's where your spring is gonna go. It goes in first, then your spring. Then right here. Before I have to do that, I'm gonna change out my bit to the correct one. Get the screw ready. Dab a little Loctite on here. There you go. Loctite is very important when dealing with screws on firearms, because after shooting hundreds of rounds, or I've even seen it through a couple mags before, from just the recoil alone, you can get these screws to walk out, and you don't want that to happen. So just want to function test it, and it works properly. Great. Okay, so now let's put our buffer back in place. And this time you don't have to deal with the spring, you just screw it in place. Before that, you want to get your detent. Man, this thing is pretty stiff. But once you put your brace on it, or your stock, you get more leverage on it. So put that right there in place. And start screwing. Make sure you get the threads aligned You don't want to strip your threads. There we go. All right. We got our threads going. And you'll know when you've gone enough, because you will touch this detent. It will hold it in place. Alright, so that's too much. I'm going to spin it back just up to the point where this locks in place. So that, use that as your reference point. Once this locks into place, you're good to go. And tighten that back down. Okay, sweet. Once you're done with this, you're going to want to torque this castle nut back down, and if possible, it's always a good thing to stake your castle nut right there. See, I had to break the stake prior to this video just to save some time. And now you can put your buffer tube back in. And it's in place. Just trust it out. There you go. Got your law folder. It locks, unlocks. All right, cool. So next step would be to put your upper back on. Okay. There you go. What you want to do not fire in this position, but press this down, pull your bolt back. Doesn't matter if you got standard or full auto bolt design. You just plug this in place. There's the last piece. Plug that in, push your bolt back, press this button, it locks it back in place. Lock it back. Function test. Strap it down. You're good to go. It works. Awesome. Great. I will be testing this out at the range. Anytime you modify your firearm, I do recommend you testing it out. Make sure everything works properly, because when you need it, that's not when you want to find out if something went wrong. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video helps you guys install your Law Tactical folder. If you like this folder, check out Brownells. I'll drop in an affiliate link in the description. They have like 4 different colors of these. You got your black, your OD green, FDE, and I think they got sniper gray, if I'm not mistaken. So go get your Law Tactical folder from Brownells. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you guys can do me a solid favor, hit that share button. You don't exactly have to share the link, but as long as you copy that link, the algorithms show that, you know, it's a positive look on the algorithm. So thanks guys for watching. Until next time, take care.